Hi, hello, friends, lovers, and anyone whose Capitol building was invaded this past week. First of all, I just want to say I figured out why the resolution on my videos was so bad. I thought it was Final Cut Pro literally this whole time. No, turns out I was only shooting in 720p. I'm so sorry for my own personal idiocracy. Now you can witness my cardboard box room in full HD. Very sorry that it is disgusting, but I have to live in it and you don't. Second, and most importantly, I did spend a lot of time this past week stuffing my memes folder with clips from Drag Race and of Trixie and Katya, so this channel it's about to get a lot gayer.
Can you not be gay for 5 minutes?
Also, how about that coup? Was it as good for you as it was for me? I hope it wasn't, because one, it wasn't good, but also it did end, I'm gonna stop doing this, but it did end my 2.5 weeks of IBS constipation.
Poop never.
So now let's talk about why we're really here. So let me tell you some background on Kim and Kanye's relationship. They met during a recording session with the Brandy. Not a day goes by. After which Kanye started asking around about Kim, and then they eventually became friends. And then Kanye really helped Kim through her 72-hour marriage, because they became really good friends around then, and she did not think that the marriage was a good idea and still did it anyway. And he was I don't know, just really supportive of her. They've talked about it in interviews. And then Kim really helped him through his mother's death, which, I mean, if you know anything about Kanye, really upset him and messed him up for a long time. He feels really guilty about it. And he has multiple songs about her, one of which is Donda, which is his newest song, but then also Wolves, which is the one that I'm most familiar with because I love Life of Pablo. He speaks specifically about what his life was like before he was with Kim versus after, and how, his mom's death sent him on a spiral, and then Kim kind of was this grounding force for him. Also, important to note that if me, Kanye, and Kim were all in a room together, there would be no need for any other zodiac signs to exist. This is air sign superiority hour. Obviously, I'm the best one, Aquarius, with Kanye as a close second, Gemini, and Kim as the third one, which, I mean, it's hard to put Libra's third at anything, but I'm also clearly not in their relationship, so just think about it, though. Think about it. A Gemini and a Libra together in a relationship, it makes perfect sense. And is why I can never find any Geminis or Libras to date. The two of them got engaged in 2012 for Keeping Up with the Kardashians. It's very cute. You can go watch it. Very shocking to me that Kim was already pregnant. She was already pregnant with North. I didn't remember that she was already pregnant, and I feel like that would have been a bigger scandal than it was, but maybe I'm just coming from a skewed perspective. Then, of course, they got married in 2014, and the rest is history. They now have 4 children, which is obviously too many because no one should have 4. You could argue that no one should even have 1. If I could personally run a country, unfortunately, I do think it would end up being an authoritarian regime just because I don't want to see people being pregnant. The divorce rumors. Oh man, just the anger that I fucking have. I'm not gonna be angry. I wrote a script. I'm gonna stick to it. So the divorce rumors kind of started before this even. I couldn't find where it was because it's kind of been replaced by everything over the last 3 days, which makes sense. But this recent development of Kim's gonna get divorced kind of gossip got started because Page Six is run by a bunch of little gremlins, and they were like, you know what? We're gonna print this article claiming that Kim is getting a divorce simply because she's meeting with this lawyer who handled her previous 2 divorces because ... She had this lawyer on retainer for like multiple years. Like, I don't know what you're... Huh? Like, also, isn't Kim going and becoming a lawyer? Maybe she wanted some lawyer advice. We just can't, like, infer anything, like, truly legitimate from this. Also, I'm gonna talk about the quote that they used in their headline later. Then, Ava Louise, who had a viral TikTok song and also got famous for licking toilets, like, right at the beginning of Corona. Stupid as a stupid does. I don't need to say anything else. She was like, you know what? I'm gonna stoke the flames. And she basically made some TikToks alleging that Kanye West was cheating on Kim with Jeffree Star.
Now that Kim's finally doing this, I feel like I can spill the tea that I've been holding on to for months. This whole divorce comes as no surprise. Kanye's been hooking up with a very famous beauty guru, male beauty guru. A lot of people in the scene have known for a while.
Because they were both in Wyoming, and I believe they both live in the same gated community, but I only saw that mentioned once. It's a little unclear as to whether or not the gated community is in Beverly Hills or in Wyoming or wherever the hell they live in California. It's all the same. If it's not New York, DC, or Pittsburgh, it shouldn't exist. Wait, no, just kidding. Tel Aviv also has permission to exist. Ava Louise then also talked to Keemstar, I believe for Drama Alert. I think that's all he does now, where she alleged that Kanye is not only cheating on Kim with Jeffree Star, but has also hooked up with her friend Cole Kerrigan, who was the gay guy that got kicked out of Team 10.
I wish I could take people's gay away.
Is it clicking for you guys the same way that it's clicked for me? They also talked about this, meaning the Page Six article plus the rumors on the Breakfast Club radio show.
A source from the Kardashians and from Kanye has said that is not true. These rumors are not true. And they said there's absolutely no truth to Jeffree and Kanye rumors according to E! News. Right, we don't even know that this is true, that they're getting divorced. Nobody has confirmed this.
I quite literally never listened to it, but I know that guy Charlemagne is one of the hosts, and unfortunately, he does not have a son named Pippin who will murder him and then pray to a devil and then go back in time and oops, Charlemagne's alive again, I suppose. All I'm saying is, Pippin, think about the sun.
Think about the sun.
What I liked about this clip is that someone from the Kardashians team has said that it's not true that Kim filed for divorce, as Page Six claimed. Which, like, if I was Kim or Kanye, I would sue Page Six. 2, they were the ones who said that we shouldn't be believing someone who got famous for licking toilet bowls. Obviously, yes, correct. And also, given that she's the only one who came through with this rumor, basically up until last night, I believed them. I was on their side. However, last night, Ava Louise did admit that this is a lie. She could not believe that she convinced the whole world that it was true.
I thought was my friend thought they could expose me. Did they know I was obviously going to expose myself because what I did was just too legendary, you know?
Really not even getting sued. I made this entire scandal up. There is literally not one bit of truth to anything I have said. I just tricked the entire world into talking about me again because I was on a lot of Adderall and bored.
And that's on being an icon. We all had fun though, didn't we? You're welcome for the meme.
I think the only reason that she was actually able to get away with this and convince as many people as she did was because basically every single journalist in America was just simply glued to network news over the last 3 days. And anyone who's being paid to report on pop culture, that was really the only other thing going on. Also, importantly, Jeffree Star did say in multiple videos that it's not true. I'm gonna blur out his face because I literally cannot stand him.
I guess some girl made up a whole lie on TikTok and it went viral, where she insinuates Kanye and Kim are getting divorced because a big male beauty influencer is sleeping with him. So I just woke up just trying to live my life and I'm like, huh, this is so weird. I had people like texting me, all these news people, like, what do you have to say to about this? And I'm like, about what? What? I'm single, I'm not sleeping with anyone. Let me just say this one time for any news outlet. I like very tall men. Me and Kanye have never hung out and this whole thing is really funny.
Now let's get into like the actual what the fuck I wanted to talk about, but I like needed to, you know, not assume that everyone has all the context and the info that I have, because I was trying to talk to like my IRL friends and I was trying to talk to them about this and they were like, what? I am simply the one who does nothing other than refresh every news feed. Catching us all up to speed is very important. The tea is, this is very upsetting to me. So now we're gonna like talk about what's wrong with these rumors. I mean, obviously rumors are bad unless it is the album by Fleetwood Mac. Obviously, we should let Kim and Kanye tell us if they're getting a divorce. And if they are, they should be the ones in control of the narrative. Although, since they haven't made a statement from the two of them, what else is Perez Hilton and the Daily Mail and Page Six gonna write about to make money? I can't hate the player, I have to hate the game, which is capitalism. If you know anything about them, the cheating allegations, which we obviously know are not true, unless in a few months we get a video from Tati Westbrook being like, Jeffree paid for my silence to not talk about him and Kanye being together. That will be a different story for now. This is what we have to work with. It just really doesn't make sense for Kim and Kanye's relationship. If you've seen any of the like hundreds of interviews that exist of them throughout their relationship, just the way that they like talk about each other or like look at each other, there is so much like oozing adoration between the two of them.
I just dreamed about, being next to her and, any time I could, I don't know, I keep saying it, but,
I mean, it's everything. It's my dream girl. It's, she's the love of my life.
So for that, it doesn't really make any sense. A close source has said that they are in marriage counseling and that divorce is on the table. But you could say that about literally anyone. For some couples, they will go to marriage counseling and it will give them the tools to communicate better, like their needs and wants and concerns. And for other people, they decide, no, it just simply cannot work. So it really it could mean anything. Also, when is divorce not on the table? I would simply get a divorce right now from, I don't know, this earth, if I could, but we're not married. It just really doesn't actually mean anything. But in addition, it also doesn't make any sense for Kanye's spirituality, which we know he has a very strong sense of spirituality. Sunday service is literally his, service worship. I'm really not sure what Christians call it. I simply just help coordinate Friday night Kabbalat Shabbat services. But also, it's gospel choir plus also so much of his music, and I would say especially from 2016 on, has been heavily gospel inspired. So for his Christianity and how seriously he takes it, I would just assume that he, and I know we shouldn't make assumptions, but it would make sense for him to not want to cheat because of how religious he is, because of how much he obviously loves Kim, and then also he probably wouldn't want to get divorced because of his religion. My points are making sense. Really, what I wanted to get to is that the way y'all / society at large always talk about Kanye is ableist. Facts are facts.
And not feelings.
Not this.
The federal government considers bipolar disorder to be a disability. Also, fact, I'm also very famously bipolar. What I feel like I personally need the catharsis to say, and like I've only ever heard myself say this, is that Kanye's music, especially starting at Life of Pablo, it's a soundscape of the bipolar experience. Not just the scrambled track order in Life of Pablo, but also the like super like bass boosted crescendo and decrescendos in his rap style that feels very much like it's both clunky and refined, and it feels like a crumpled up piece of paper. He blends or clashes that styling with gospel singing, like a lot. And that is what bipolar sounds like. Like, genuinely, when I listen to his music, it's like every hair and cell on my personage stands on end.
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
And not in like a afraid way, but in like a, yes, this is correct, or like excited kind of way. King wrote I Hate Being Bipolar, It's Awesome on the album cover of Ye, which I think is exactly what every bipolar person would say. He was diagnosed in 2016. I was also famously diagnosed in 2016. I'll keep saying famously till it's true. Though he has refused to take medication, which is stupid, rude, and homophobic against me, because I essentially had to kick and scream to get a psychiatrist to believe me and give me medication. Because if you're assigned female at birth, how could you possibly know anything?
Women don't feel pain. Women over-exaggerate.
Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna not be mean to doctors. I have a lot of hate for them because they're very mean to me. It is so incredibly stupid for him to not be taking medication. I cannot stress enough that that decision is a death wish. He is asking to die. According to NIH, my former employer, hated every second of it. Men who are diagnosed with bipolar disorder have a life expectancy of like 66 to 70 years old, which is 8 to 12 years shorter than the average life expectancy of a man in the US, which is 78. And like, not to number his days or whatever, but like he only has like 25 left. I, on the other hand, have 45 to 47 left. So checkmate, Kanye. But actually, the reason that the life expectancy is decreased by that much is because there's such a high prevalence of substance abuse and also suicidal ideation or opting to take action. But like, in truth and in seriousness, people with bipolar disorder are very likely to turn to substance abuse, and as I mentioned, have a very high chance of opting to take their own life, considering the instability of like constantly having highs and lows. We've seen Kanye be erratic and paranoid, etc. But like, I can't lie, the depression is more dangerous than the mania. Like, I feel like it is. And that's why I feel like it's a really bad idea for a person with bipolar disorder to not be treating it at all. Like, especially someone in the public eye. I mean, even if he wasn't, your quality of life is just better when you are stable. And I was speaking about this with my friend Sophie the other night, that Kanye obviously believes this lie because he said it, that he thinks that if he's medicated, that it will like dull his creativity and his spark and his genius, sir, that's a lie. That's actually a big fat lie, because when you're depressed, you in fact cannot make anything at all because you are too depressed to do anything.
Do you think a depressed person could make this?
And while yes, like the trauma and like the erratic behavior can really add to the material that you have to work with, but if you can't actually turn that into anything, then what's it all for? What's the point? Obviously, he and I disagree on quite a lot of non-music things, but the way that society demonizes him is so messed up because it works on both the levels of his blackness and of his bipolar disorder. Society has been looking for Kanye to fail for years for a myriad of reasons. If they are to get divorced, fingers crossed that that doesn't happen, Kim won't have any public repercussions. Obviously, within her family, divorce always does some stuff, but publicly, people will end up lauding her as like a tragic hero and a strong mother. Kanye is so easy to vilify and make out to be unfaithful because it plays into these really harmful narratives that society has just like dug its teeth into. Nails, claws. That black men are bad fathers or bad husbands or are unfaithful. So that's really the entry point, in my opinion, to putting the blame on Kanye. But it's more so than just that narrative to it. The scathing degree to which society has been vilifying Kanye. And by society, I mean like Twitter, TikTok, like all of social media. Because obviously, I'm not out like at the bar talking to people about Kanye. But the degree of it has everything to do with his bipolar disorder. That's the reason that I think it really takes hold and people are like, yes, of course. Plus, in that stupid page 6 article, Kim is walking out of a building, which we're told is the lawyer's office. So obviously if like she's filing, there's the implication that she's the one who wants the divorce, which is actually not really what it means. Just means she was in a lawyer's office for whatever reason, and you just don't know whether or not Kanye was in a lawyer's office because no one's in Wyoming. Why would you ever be there? You might as well just not. But I wanted to circle back around to this because I really do take issue with it, which is what page 6 said. They quoted their source as saying that Kim is done. Okay, so they just automatically, running out the gate, blame on Kanye. And the implication is that she's done with his shenanigans and his acting crazy, which is ableist. You heard it here first, folks. The people who work at page 6 are ableist pigs. The truth is that is... it's just so rude. It's so rude. Okay, I have not been able to really hit on whether or not this is actually true. It's just a thing that I feel, and that if this is true and that really is her perspective, it does prove my point a little bit. I don't think neurotypical people have the capacity to love bipolar people the way that we deserve. If Kim is done, then she isn't willing to put in the time and effort to properly and effectively communicate with her mentally ill husband. And this is quite a bit of an extrapolation, but it's based quite a bit on personal experience. That implication is also that she is done not being in control of the relationship, which you're in the relationship together. You need to maybe come to terms with the fact that a bipolar person is like a little bit more complex than a neurotypical person and has different needs. And it's, it's a little messy. And it means she wasn't actually willing to be all in with her partner. If that statement If that statement quoted in page 6 is true and she is done, then she is rejecting Kanye on the basis of his disability. She is rejecting him because he is bipolar. Straight up. I'm well aware that Kanye, back in like September of 2020, like revealed some private information about Kim and Kanye, and then she like tweeted a statement being like, it's frustrating, like I know he's got bipolar, and so sometimes he says shit he's not, it's not fair for him to say about our relationship publicly, which like I get it. That happened. Yeah, that's pretty valid. Your filter gone. However, afterwards, Kanye, he went on a tweet storm. These tweets are deleted at this point, but he was saying that Kim was trying to force him to a doctor and like put him away and whatever. Basically, she was like, bro, you need to get treated. And he was rejecting it because paranoia, obviously. He said a lot of things in interviews that are like, when you have bipolar disorder, you don't trust anyone and you think everyone's out to get you and they're putting chips in your head. Sir, that is psychosis. That's an element sometimes. That's not bipolar disorder. It could very much be schizoaffective. I understand that if she tries to like actually get him help with a little bit more force than him actually agreeing to it and walking into the doctor's office on his own, that it will cause a lot of resentment. However, she is genuinely leaving him out to dry if she files for divorce and says, I'm done. It is a lack of patience, a lack of understanding, laziness, and rejection. That's kind of what it bundles up into. And not saying that that is true or that's what's actually happening. That is what newspapers, tabloids, etc. are saying. And if what they are saying is true, then this is what she's saying and doing means. Especially from Kanye's perspective. Because, like, as a bipolar person, I have never, ever, ever seen a relationship with a bipolar person last more than 6 years. And 6 years is Kim and Kanye's relationship. It sends the message to me, a bipolar person, and I know they owe me nothing. They don't know me. I don't think that they should make their relationship decision around how this is going to impact other bipolar people, but it will simply reinforce negative beliefs that I already have, that neurotypical people can't and don't have the ability to actually love and have real relationships with bipolar people. And considering how there's really not that many of us out there in the world, you know what, genuinely, that then also goes into, this is my baggage. I think it will make more sense with like also some of these other things that I've said, is that I will feel that bipolar people are unlovable. It is not true. I love bipolar people. In my real life, every bipolar person I know is divorced or has not had a long-term relationship. What I have seen and heard, thanks Kanye for your beautiful musical contributions, about their love is that she actually gives a shit about him and like cares about him and has put in work to understand bipolar disorder, especially because she's with someone who has refused treatment. They were really kind of are the last like example that I feel that I personally have of someone actually giving a shit about their bipolar partner. I obviously cannot be like, Kim, Kanye, please stay together for me. Let's talk about like what we can actually do as people not in that relationship and just being normal people. The only actionable thing that I really have is that we have to stop talking about Kanye the way that we, meaning you guys, because I don't, you guys being society, do, and assuming he, like every other bipolar person, is always the wrong one in the relationship. It's very much like what we do to bisexual people, being like, they're the cheaters. They aren't real and aren't genuine. That is a very similar stigma to what has been put onto bipolar people. It's very unfair to him, and it's very, very dangerous for the rest of us. We need to not be so quick to judge Kanye's actions. We need to maybe not blame him without knowing the whole story, because it's dangerous for the rest of us. If you date a bipolar person, you have to be more go with the flow, okay? You need to just be chill and just let it be what it is, okay? You have to learn when to help and when not to help. You have to treat us like complex people, because we are, and we probably have different needs than what you might anticipate from having dated a non-bipolar person. You need to be willing to put in the work. I feel like for a lot of non-bipolar relationships, people hear that relationships are work, but they enter into them being like, no, not me, not us. You have to like actually be ready when you're dating a bipolar person, because if you're going into it being like, it's just going to be peaches and cream, you're not going to be prepared for the work it takes to have a good relationship with a real human being, but especially one who, you know, depending on who they are, might go through months of just like literally not being able to wash their hair, or might go through periods where they like aren't sleeping. It's really not any different from a normal relationship, except for that you can't just like take these normal things that you have to do when you're in a relationship for granted, the way that a lot of the time people do in relationships with non-bipolar people. Kanye is not irrational or crazy or untrustworthy just because that's the easy thing to believe, because it's what's been fed to us. And also, that's not how he is. He's a normal person. And so inserting that narrative into him and Kanye's, he is Kanye.
And now I look around and there's so many Kanyes.
Into Kanye and Kim's relationship it's not fair to them, but it's also going to perpetuate these bullshit false beliefs into other bipolar people's relationships. Because if Kanye is one of those things, or is believed to be one of those things, and he has bipolar disorder, then it becomes so much easier to believe it about anyone else who has it. Just genuinely some very upsetting content on the timeline. Hate to see people like rooting for Kim to divorce Kanye. I hope like this perspective, I hope I got through, because it's so emotional for me that I almost feel like I can't express what it is that I'm really trying to get at very clearly. Is that also because people have told me that my emotions aren't valid, my ideas are bad, and that I'm dumb? Yes, we are in EMDR therapy, working through trauma. But I hope it like gets across that the representation of Kanye as a bipolar person, but also someone who like clearly their mental illness is in their music, has been really powerful for me. Having that musical artistic representation, or like almost like communication of the bipolar experience, is so emotionally invaluable to me. You literally could not put a price tag on it, and I really hope that like it got across, and that's why these rumors and theories are really hurtful, not just for me but to other people, and we gotta stop it. Like years ago. It's done. Thank you so much for watching. You can find all my links down below, also all of the sources, obviously. I highly recommend going and watching Jay Aubrey's video on Kanye's like music career trajectory. I think it's like super good. If you're a congressperson and you are watching this, please ensure that 45 ends up in jail. Encouraging insurrection is treason. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Whoa, whoa, Mamma Mia, here I go again.